this is Teen News Today. In this episode of Teen News Today, we have many stories about recent events. You'll be hearing the story of Eric Gardner and awareness of texting and driving, along with the details of the newly released movie, The Interview. Now over to Taylor and Jenna with all the details on the hack in Sony Productions and details on the movie, The Interview.
Today we're going to be talking about The Interview by Sony Pictures. The film was funded by the $8 billion Hollywood powerhouse Sony Pictures. The movie features Seth Rogen and James Franco as celebrity reporters tasked by the CIA with assassinating North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. On November 24th, a group by the name of Guardians of Peace announced people had invaded the studio's computer systems and reportedly taken more than 100 files, unreleased movies, thousands of employees' social security numbers, executive pay packages, and internal emails, including those on the portrayal of Kim's melting face, began appearing in vast data dumps uploaded to the internet. Investigators working for Sony have described it as an exceptional crime that is bizarre in nature. The movie had already been announced an act of war by government officials in June, but that turned out to be only the beginning of Sony Pictures' problems. The studio's internal debate about how to edit the movie was revealed in one of the many corporate emails hacked and leaked on the internet in one of the largest pieces of confidential data in recent history. Just days before the premiere, it was revealed by Bloomberg News that the chief executive of the original Sony company, Kazuo Hirai, was personally interviewed in the edit. Hirai was upset with Kim's death scene and left it to Sony Pictures co-chair Amy Pascal to deliver the news to Rogen, the film's director. After the boss's intervention, she emailed him in August requesting a shot which used no face melting, less fire in the hair, fewer pieces of glowing coal to the face, to replace the current version of Kim's death, which concludes in his head exploding. Director Judd Apatow, whose personal data was amongst the thousands released, compared reporting the documents as similar to writing about the pictures of Jennifer Lawrence hacked in August.
Thanks, Taylor and Jenna. Sounds like a pretty good movie. Now we head over to Rowie and DJ with an interview on the Sony hack and new movie release.
In 2014, a movie was released by Sony Pictures called The Interview. I'm here with DJ Alberto, interviewing him about his opinion. Today I have the local movie reviewer, DJ Alberto, here talking about The Interview. Now, DJ, there is a whole lot of controversy over the movie The Interview. What is your input on this?
I thought the movie was a very good movie and very funny, just offensive to the North Korean government.
Do you think it was necessary that this was a movie, or do you think they should have made it on a more an appropriate topic to the nation?
I understand they want it to be a funny movie and make a lot of money, which they probably would have if there were no bomb threats, and it was very, offensive.
Do you think it was racist, the things they put in the movie, or the topics?
There was no racism in the movie, just harsh humor.
If you were to rate this a 1 out of 10 overall, what would you rate it?
I would probably rate the movie an 8. It was very funny.
And what would you rate the judgment toward the North Korean government?
The judgmentalness was a 9, definitely. It was very harsh towards the president.
Thanks, Rowie and DJ. I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. Now over to Tyler and Owen with the story of the Ferguson shooting.
The shooting of Micheal Brown occurred in Ferguson, Missouri on August 9, 2014 at around 12 in the afternoon.
Micheal Brown and his partner Dorian Johnson robbed the local Ferguson market and liquor store.
When Officer Darren Wilson arrives, he tells the men to get out on the sidewalk.
Micheal tried to flee the scene, but Officer Darren shot 2 bullets from the SUV.
One shot most likely grazed Michael's hand, and one missed him as he kept running up Canfield Drive.
Down the street, Officer Wilson had Micheal blocked off and fired 6 shots at him, hitting him 4 times in the right arm and 2 times in the head.
Dorian Johnson says that before Officer Wilson shot Micheal, that Darren Wilson had his arm around Michael's neck.
Then Officer Wilson either said, "I will shoot," or "I'm about to shoot."
When Michael was shot, it was considered an act of racism among the town and even among the country.
Officer Darren Wilson was not charged with the murder of Micheal Brown.
This caused many riots across the nation. Buildings are set on fire in the town of Ferguson.
Is this the end of the story?
Probably not.
That is a terrible event and shouldn't happen again. Now over to Gianna and Annabelle with texting and driving awareness.
Did you know that it takes at least 5 seconds to send a text message while driving? If you are traveling at 55 miles per hour, that is the length of a football field without paying attention to the road.
Text messaging makes a crash up to 23 times more likely.
When dialing in a phone number, crashing your car is 2.8 times more likely.
While talking or listening, it is 1.3 times more likely to crash.
Reaching for your phone gives a 1.4 times risk of crashing.
In 2012, 13% of 18 to 20-year-old drivers involved in car crashes admitted to texting or talking on their phones at the time of the crash.
82% of Americans in the age of 16 through 17 own cell phones, and out of that 82%, 34 say that they have texted while driving, and 52% say they have talked on the phone while driving.
77% of young adults are confident that they can safely text and drive, and 55% claim it's easy to text and drive.
A result to all the new technology is that it is so irresistible, people think, I can look down for a second to send this text and everything will be fine, and the next thing they know, they are in a car crash. There are many pledges you can take to stop texting and driving, such as It Can Wait and BUST.
The increase in pledges to stop texting and driving shows that it is getting out of hand. You can send #X to people you are texting to pause your conversation with them before driving.
Thanks, Gianna and Annabelle. Texting and driving is very dangerous and can wait until your car is parked. Now over to Olivia and DJ with how schools can help improve education.
We are here to talk more set to the student's ambition. According to Makeshift Online Magazine, there are 3 trends that could help form a better education in the future.
Digital delivery is an important aspect in teaching. Our way of life now revolves around electronics, digital ebooks, and online classes, and Makeshift believes that in order to make learning more modern, we have to start bringing in these new topics into the curriculum.
If schools approach teaching digitally, students will be more engaged and focused in learning. Another trend Makeshift talked about was creating classes for students' interests. Schools devoted to helping students focus on their interests are becoming more and more common.
These schools are trying to help students decide what they want to do in the future at an early age. They provide workshops that are dedicated to students' interests and train them on jobs they can pursue in the future. They also have academic classes that teach the core curriculum every few weeks.
An opinion from TED states that education should be an empowering process that allows and guides children to their passions, critical thinking, and compassion.
Thanks, Olivia and DJ. I agree. Schools should focus more on certain subjects. Now over to Olivia interviewing Taylor about what she thinks about the curriculum schools teach.
I'm here with Taylor to give an opinion on education. How do you feel about the curriculum in schools today? Do you think it should be altered or kept the same? If so, how should it be changed?
I think the curriculum in schools should be changed because there's some things in like school curriculums that are needed but we don't give enough spotlight to, like gym and cooking and other like languages. We only have a Spanish like program, and for the people that want to learn like Chinese and other languages, like don't get enough like
Focus?
Yes.
Do you think it's fair that students have loads of homework after a full day of school as well as after school activities?
No, I don't think it's fair because for the people that have things after school like basketball or like clubs, they don't get enough time to like focus on all of the homework, because if you have homework in every single subject, then you don't get enough like focus. Like if you could stay after school with a teacher, you couldn't do that, because if you had basketball and you had a game right after school, you wouldn't get help or anything.
And after school activities are important because they emphasize in like socially and just like developing your passion at a young age. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does school stress you on a daily basis?
It stresses me out a lot, so maybe like an 8, because there's a lot, like there sometimes can be a lot of pressure on like the student, because if you have like a test and they give you the like if they tell you that you have the test the day before the test, then you have a lot of stress, like I'm not gonna ace this test, I'm gonna fail, I don't know what I'm doing, and stuff like that.
And do you ever get tired during the day? Like how much sleep do you think you get on a daily basis?
Probably like 8 hours of sleep, maybe 7 sometimes, but it's like you need more sleep.
Yeah, students actually need 10 hours to fully function, and most students only get around 6 to 8 because of after-school activities and homework.
That's not good.
No. So thank you, Taylor,
You're welcome.
for your interview.
Thanks, Olivia and Taylor. Do you agree with Taylor? Now over to Blake and Lorenzo regarding the I Can't Breathe story.
Recently, 43-year-old African-American Eric Gardner was killed after put into an illegal chokehold by the NYPD.
Many people think that Eric Gardner didn't deserve to die for selling a pack of cigarettes and breaking up a fight.
Many people have been protesting the NYPD for what they have done and how it was wrong.
Eric Gardner had 6 kids, 3 grandkids, and a wife named Essa when he died. One of his grandkids was only 6 months old.
People are comparing this situation to what happened to Micheal Brown and how they are both acts of racism.
Eric Gardner was described as a peacemaker by his friends and family back in hometown.
Eric was 6 feet 4 inches and 350 pounds.
During the illegal chokehold, Eric was saying repeatedly, "I can't breathe." The NYPD police officer didn't let go of Eric, and Eric was choked to death.
Recently, African Americans have been holding up signs saying, "I don't want to be next," and have created t-shirts saying, "I can't breathe."
Most people believe this was an act of racism.
Should Eric Gardner deserve to die over a pack of cigarettes?
Thanks, Blake and Lorenzo. That is a very impactful story with all the protests going around the country. How do you feel about this story? Now over to Adam and Keyshawn talking about how electronics affects kids.
Did you know that 30% of children under the age of 2 are using their parents' smartphones or tablets?
70% of teens have a cell phone, and almost 47 own smartphones. That translates to 30% of all teens who have smartphones. It went up by 23% just from 2011.
9 in 10 teens have a computer or access to one at home.
In 2010, studies show that elementary kids use 7.5 hours a day on entertainment and technology.
Most teen girls of 14 through 17 say they mostly go online using their cell phones.
20% of teens have tablets.
More kids can work smartphones than tie their shoes.
Children spend 4 minutes on unstructured outdoor play. Also, studies show that most 5-year-olds have access to an iPad.
The Kaiser Foundation estimated that children 8 through 18 spend 7.5 hours a day using technology, 4.5 of which consist of watching television.
I think that kids are affected by technology because, according to our research, elementary kids are using 7.5 hours of technology every day. I think that kids should watch 1 or 2 hours of technology every day, and they should play outside more than 5 minutes.
I think that kids should spend more time playing outside than on their phones. Tablets, and computers. Kids should at least use physical activity for 60 minutes. Kids spend at least 4 hours a day of just watching TV and 3 hours a day on phones, tablets, or computers.
Text message.
Thanks, Adam and Keyshawn. Kids should spend more time outside rather than on electronic devices. What do you think about how much time kids spend on technology? Thank you for watching Teen News Today. I'd like to give a special thanks to our producers Braden Lavassier and Kyle Day, and myself, Maddie Craig. See you next time on Teen News Today.